We're
Okay,
live.
we are back, but
And
I don't
we're
see us. I don't see us streaming in the Facebook group though.
it's because I had to share it because every time with this thing, this is my luck currently. I prepare, I test, it works. I click go live, it doesn't work.
Well, where are we streaming to then?
We're on our personal pages, and then I shared my personal page, the stream into the ClickFunnels official group.
Oh, well, let's test that. Let's see if that's where it is. It's amazing. Once Facebook took away the ability to have apps in there and be able to stream off of them, here we go. We're down to 21 seconds. All right. See, that's why I keep Madison around, because on the fly she just boom, 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 and suddenly it's there. So that's so we thank Madison for that. For years of growing up playing softball taught her how to be a tech whiz, apparently.
Quick hands. As long as I'm just checking to see, like, I don't know if people who are not my friend can see it or not, but we'll just we're gonna go with it. If we need to restream, I have that figured out how to restream things.
Because you've had to do it too many times already.
Yeah, pretty much. So,
well, and on that subject, I think you had the same problem when you were going live with Tony on, what do you guys do that Tuesday afternoon, like 3-4 o'clock?
Tuesday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 Eastern.
Okay. Yeah, so these two have a little show, and I keep missing most of it. I always catch like the last 5 minutes. So what do you guys talk about on that show? Because I think it's more head trip kind of stuff, isn't it?
It is more. It's not tech focused. There's a lot of different tech shows. Like, this is a tech show. This is like a click the buttons and show you how to do it, because Dan's really, really smart. And so what we're trying to do with Super Ambassadors this season is to show you the low tech version and the high tech version at the same time. Now, Funnel Friends is more kind of high level stuff. It's concepts, it's strategy, it's like giving you the confidence, and then still obviously tying it back to funnels and how you can use the overwhelm. How do you make sure your funnels don't have overwhelm in them so that your customers don't get confused? And because, confused mind never buys.
Well, yeah, and I saw something you guys were saying about 3 green check marks or something. So you want to keep your day simple. And we've all done this at some point in our life where we have our checklist of 247,000 things we need to do today. And most everybody I've been listening to of late, including Hormozi and Musk, all basically say, 2-3 things max on your list for the day. And if you get them done, great, go find something else to do, because there's always something else to do, but keep it limited on your list of tasks you have to do each day.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And we kind of talk about them in terms of loops. And so you have red loops that are things that really don't bring you any money, and green loops are what bring you money. What we've discovered is that loops are like whack-a-mole. You close a loop and now another loop has opened up. So it's really, we're going to highlight a new feature, a new concept called hidden loops on Monday. And really those are another thing that really tie you back. But we're also going to talk about what is the thing of courage. Like, what are you missing when it comes to courage, and how is it affecting your funnels?
Yeah. And one of the things I think it's Elon Musk was talking about is, every day, every week, every whatever you want to say, is you have to look at what is the number one thing that if I get that done today, that will move my business forward more than anything else. Because so many things we are doing, so many things we are building are dependent upon something else. And so take the time, if it's 5 minutes, half an hour, at least once a week, and go, okay, what are the most important thing I got to get done this week? And what are the dependencies? So, okay, I want to get this thing done. Well, what are the 5 things before that I have to have in place in order to get that one thing done? And then start ticking off those 5, because otherwise this is never going to get done. It's going to be Friday and you're going to go, I didn't get that done. Well, it's because you didn't get the 5 things in front of it done. And that's what you're talking there with loops. You can't have the big loop at the end get done if you didn't close the 5 in front of it.
No, absolutely. You're totally right about it. Like, it is thinking about, like, and as stupid as it is to check things off your list, that's the most important thing, right? You just scratch things off, and you just take them one step at a time, right? And it's like, I think Layla Hormozi said, if it takes 5 minutes, do it now.
Yeah. Exactly. It was only going to, that's certainly something my mom would have said. Is like, okay, just do it now. I mean, what are you thinking about? Just do it. Okay, we got to get the laundry out onto the line. Well, just do it now.
Yeah.
Don't think about it and, do it 5 hours from now. Just, okay, I thought of it. Go, do it. Done.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah. So, all right, Madison. So you were going to show us something today. I'll let her explain that in a minute. And then when she's done, I'm going to come back and we're going to talk about different things you can do to optimize the page load speed that you have. And most people know one or two of these things. I'm going to show you some stuff that you never even thought of and some tricks on how to use the dev tools to also help you with this process. You don't have to use things like GTmetrix or anything like that. I'm going to show you some tricks in there as well. So Madison, take it away.
All right. And I don't know if it says we're in the ClickFunnels group. I got no idea. So
no, I see us in the ClickFunnels. I see us in the ClickFunnels group. We were just delayed by like a minute or so.
Okay, perfect. Because I deleted my sharing because we'll figure it out.
Yeah, whatever. It'll get there.
We're gonna start sharing it from a page moving forward.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think the number one thing, like when I sit down and talk to people who are trying to figure out their business, right? They're trying to figure out how to do this whole funnel thing. We have a lot of people who are new into ClickFunnels through probably the One Comma Club challenge, or you're a new funnel builder. You're trying to do this for other people. And now you're like, oh my gosh, they have a subscription product. I don't have no idea how to do that, or blah, 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 whatever it is. And so kind of what I wanted to cover today, and this is going to be a multi-part series. Because Dan's like, you could do so many things with products. So number one, let's actually talk about going back and actually how do you create a product. So I'm going to go over here. Simple products, all products, and hit create. Now, at this point, the key differences between a digital product and a physical product really is just how it collects the shipping information, right? Used to be, and they maybe have fixed this, when you needed to collect to or connect to ShipStation or Shippo, it had to be an actual physical product. But for right now, for clarity's sake, we're going to go digital product. And we're going to say it's Dan's awesome course. And it's as simple as that. Now I got to set a price for this. And I think the easiest way to set a price, like if you're not sure, is just, hey, we're just going to set a price like this. The cool thing about prices, you can change them. You can add multiple ones on top of it. So really what I wanted to highlight here is about prices, right? So this looks a little intimidating when you first come to it. So obviously one-time price, you're just charging them once. So you put in an amount. This is if you've ever seen on Shopify where it's like crossed out, it's like compared to price. That's what you would put that there. And of course, if you wanted to track your product costs, you can put that there too. Now, the key thing with subscriptions, this is where it kind of gets a little different, right? It's little kind of in the weeds and you have tons of different options here. So with subscriptions are different than a payment plan. Subscriptions are going to be reoccurring for as long as you want them to go. Payment plans is really where you break down. So we're going to say it's $197. And I'm going to say this is going to be the $197 for 15 months. And so I'm going to charge a customer 1 month for a total number of payments of 15. Now, if I charge this weekly and it's $197 for 15 months, then this is obviously now 30. So that's just kind of how you can get kind of pretty interested, right? You can keep this pretty detailed to be fit whatever situation you need this to be in, right? And same with product as a trial. It can be a free trial, it can be a paid trial. And then obviously if there is a setup fee as well. Cool thing about these is if you need to have different situations for different customers, you can come back down here and you can only make certain ones visible. Same on the funnel level. You can make certain ones visible on that specific funnel, but remember, we're going to cover that in another lesson. And I think most people are going to be probably in this subscription range. Same thing. How many payments or how much amount payment? $97 because Dan's course is really awesome. It's going to be every month, means it's going to reoccurringly build them as you move forward and forward and forward. I can see has a trial. Yep, it's a paid trial. It's 7 days and the cost is $700. Now, what I always like to do is this is for you to decide. Do you want to allow them to cancel or would you like them to reach out to you? So those are kind of what these checkboxes down here mean. And then they can either upgrade or downgrade. So I usually like to just have they can cancel and they can upgrade. So I don't really want them to downgrade, right? I want them to reach out to me if they need to downgrade. So,
well, and two things before you move forward here. First off, you had a $700 for a 7-day trial. I'm going to say that's probably not a terribly realistic number to be putting in there. It's just so people don't go, what the heck was 700? But the thing is with the upgrades and the downgrades, then once we get to a later screen here, because there's multiple layers of us putting this together, you can then decide, because let's say you got 5 different products, 5 different levels. And if you're in the middle level, you can say, okay, this is how somebody can, so somebody can then upgrade to level 4 and 5 if they're level 3, and they can also downgrade as well. So there's all kinds of flexibility here. There's one that I built one day. I think there were just three levels. There were 3 levels, but annual plan and a monthly plan. And so you can go in there and individually say, okay, somebody can upgrade from their monthly plan to an annual plan, or they can downgrade to a lower plan. And, so you end up with 6, 8, 10 different options of what they can do. And so it really gives you a lot of possibilities. We're very flexible.
So now if you're like, oh no, I didn't mean $700 for 7 days. I just added extra zeros in there because I fat fingered it. I thought I had the decimal point in, right? I wanted it to be $7 for 7 days. So this little gear icon here, that's how you can edit all of this. So I can just make it 7 days. I can also get rid of the free trial. And now this will, correct me if I'm wrong, Dan, this will update on every funnel that you have this product connected to for this price point, correct?
Right. Like so many things in 2.0 now, unlike 1.0, is when you create it, it can be used across different things. So you can create a funnel page inside of ClickFunnels that you can then use on 10 different funnels if you want. If you got an upsell that is just killing it, you can create it one time and use it on 5 different funnels. Same thing with a product. You can create a product one place, one time, and then use it everywhere you want. And then what you can do is, of course, then I don't know if you could, I think you can duplicate a product. If not, you have to completely rebuild it. But let's say you duplicate a product and you only want like small difference in it. So one of them you only want for some reason to be monthly payments, whereas the other one you want to be annual payments, even though you could combine them together. For some reason, you want to break it apart. So you make 2 different products, have one here, maybe for tracking purposes or some other reason you may want to break it up. You can do whatever you want and just have just minor differences between the products as well.
Now, it used to be you could only have one product per billing type and cycle. So, for example, if I have this product, I'm going to save it. And I'm saying this is my monthly product. If I come in here again and I go one time and I'm going to say this one's going to be, say I want to split test pricing for some reason. 1. I think this is going to say I already have one. Oh, no. As long as we have improved that. Used to be you could only have one per billing type or cycle, billing time frame, I guess would be the word. But I think this brings up the point about like if you are a funnel builder and you sit down with a client and you have little tiny changes you make in an offer every single time, right? So say I have one client and it's $1,500 for a basic funnel rebuild, but they need it split up into 4 payments, right? I think that's kind of a decision you make. If you don't want to invoice them, you want to have a product, they go to a page, they click it, they buy, it bills them automatically. That's where you have to really decide, like, how do you want to manage your account? Because you can turn these on and off at a funnel level, but you could also go down here to your variants, and you could always create that as a variant. The thing I don't love about the variants, especially in that situation, is like a Shopify-esque experience, variants are created for sizing, colors, different things that would have options. There are multiple buttons to click down. So it's not like I can have a variant and let's say I want to do what would be a good example, like funnel A and funnel B, right? They're still going to have to go into be like product, funnel type, and then whichever one, even if I only turn on one variant per funnel page.
Yeah, and just you're right from a complication standpoint. When I was building the one with the three different things, and then so we had 3 products, each with an annual and a monthly plan. So then you got 6 different products essentially, and to put that all onto one page, onto one order form, it got to be messy, took a bunch of complicated code to do it. I think a simpler way to do it would even be you could create 6 different products if you wanted to. Bring somebody to a page and just, show them the pricing plans, and then have a toggle at the top, let's say, and go annual or the other, annual or monthly, and then you pick one of the 3 plans, and for each one of them, then when they click that button, it takes them to a separate page. So you'd create 6 different products and 6 different landing pages with the checkout form on it. But that actually would be a lot simpler than what I had to do to deal with all 6 variants all within one checkout.
Yeah, and I think it's just like sitting down and being like, how do I want to structure this, and being nice to your future self, right? I've done say like buy a pack of calls, right? Here, you want to just have it where you can just reach out to me as a gold certified funnel builder and I jump on a call with you, but you don't want to say buy a reoccurring coaching program. So, I'll do a punch card. Here's 5 calls. Well, then you get the person who goes, can I just buy 1 call? Or, I want 7 calls. Or could I get 3 calls every month? That's where if you don't want to have a ton of different products and have this really messy ClickFunnels, like in terms of all your products, where you could really come in here, you can do these by pricing or you can do them by variants. So just the key with pricing is you would obviously, if I'm going to come in here and say, this one's now, say $4.97, I would want it to be like Joe's special price. And then I could turn just this one on that funnel. But you obviously got to make sure that you got to be really good about being diligent and organized, because you wouldn't want those to cross and have the wrong person see a special offer. So just keep that in mind.
So in that case there, what you're saying is you would make, because Joe just wants this special thing, and you said, okay, Joe, here's a special thing we're going to do for you. I'm going to build Joe a funnel with that order form page on it. Basically, it would just be one page with an order form on it, and then you just attach that singular product to it. Joe goes there, he buys. After that, you can hide that thing. You can destroy the page. You can do whatever you want. But also let people know is if Joe comes along and says, hey, I want this special thing, there's also the ability to create invoices directly inside of ClickFunnels. So you could do an invoice there, just give it to Joe, Joe pays it. You could go to Stripe and create an invoice. And of course, there's myriad of other different places you could do it. You could charge them through, was it Venmo or something straight out of your
PayPal, whatever. Oh, no, sorry, Dan, that's a bad word for you. But I think the thing is that the cool thing about this is, so what I like to do as a funnel builder, I will probably most likely jump on a call with somebody and we'll go over and I'll give them an option on what it looks like moving forward. What I like to do is I have a page already set up. I plug in the recording at the top of that page, and at the bottom of that page, there might be some information in the middle of it. The bottom of the page is that order form for that next step. Now, if Joe doesn't buy and you're like, Joe, that was 6 months ago, but Joe still has the link because the link is still live for whatever reason, and now your prices have gone up, you just come in here and now Joe's special price is $8.97. And you can just have on a page probably good principle to say like, hey, prices are only valid for 30 days from February 14th, and if it's after that, prices may go up. I actually had this situation where I priced something and then my capacity changed. I increased the prices on it. And then somebody who had an old link actually went through and bought it. I was clear like, hey, prices can increase, they can change, all of that stuff. So that's the cool thing about universal products is if I have one weird page that I forgot to change the price on, Joe's going to pay what would be half of what I would like to charge.
Yeah, so just keep an eye on it, especially if you're doing any kind of special pricing. But for most people and in most situations, you're never going to run into that anyway. Most of the people, you're going to set this up. You got your $7.95 ebook. You're going to
Yep.
set it up one time, and you're just going to send a whole bunch of traffic to it.
Pretty much.
And then get them on the upsells and everything else. Because again, if you look at most checkout forms and most everything, it's and most you have like two options. You got to, I mean, think about anything that Russell does. Think about the recent One Comic Club challenge. You had a pay it all now, or you had a 3-pay option. That was it. And 3-pay option, you paid a third of it today, then again at 30, and then again at 60 days.
Yeah. And if you caught yesterday, there was a little snippet thrown in there, which is genius marketing by Russell. He said, if you do the deposit and you don't choose a plan, in 7 days, it's automatically going to charge you that $1,800. Ooh.
Yeah, that's what it was all along throughout the whole thing. But yeah, once because you at that point you signed up for a subscription.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, I don't know what the deposit was because Madison and I have been in the program for a while. Well, let's say the deposit was $1,000.
Yeah, $997.
So $1,000, and then 7 days later, because you signed up for a subscription at that point, so you had $1,000 trial. You had your first payment then. Actually, let's see if we can show how to set that up on here. So you had $1,000 trial. You would have then had, let's just call it 800, 7 days down the road, and then 30 and 60 days.
I think the way that this was actually set up, and I'm just going to go set price. This would be the way I think it would be set up. Let me click into this $1,800 a month, which is actually not a subscription. It's a payment plan. So we got a new price because it's a 3-pay payment plan. $1,800 charged every month for 3 payments. And then I believe that they went with the setup fee of $997. Okay. And then you still can go with the free trial. And the setup fee should charge you right away. And then actually, well, we can save this. And we can go to a funnel. And we'll just go new. And we'll try FBCC hack. I'm going to leave it in test mode. I also have Dan's credit card, so I could put it in live mode, but we'll leave it in test mode for now.
Yeah, you're not going to get too far with any of my credit cards, so wouldn't be a very good example.
Same here.
Keep getting a red warning.
Okay. So pretty simple, right? I'm just going to add in a checkout element here. Boom. Section, row, checkout. Hit save. Now, Rob talked to us last week, but I think I can't add a product from here. I think I do have to go back out to the funnel level. 3 dots.
Yeah, but that is so sweet. The ability to just click on those. I mean, all week long I've been in the editor and I'm always like struggling going, okay, I need to get back out over here. I keep forgetting to click that little icon up at the top. It is so much easier now.
I was in an account that didn't have it and was like, no. All right, so I'm gonna go preview, and this is so I get asked a lot. People are like, my funnel's not live. Well, live mode only relates to payments, so it's basically like a sandbox mode versus a production mode. So it doesn't mean your funnels are not on the internet; they are on the internet. So
Madison, go back into the editor and make that a one-step checkout form so we can just see the whole thing.
Good point.
Whenever I'm building something with a checkout in it, I always put it into one-step mode as I'm building. If once you go into production, you want to have 2 or 3-step mode, fine. But when I'm building, it's always in one-step mode.
Yep. Alrighty.
I mean, the reason why you do that is so you could actually see what's on the page. How come that looks different? Are you in one step? Well, you got the link thing there, but also the product is at the top. I thought it's normally the email or the name and email and stuff was always at the top.
I think it's recognizing me as a I think
Scroll
that's
down
why.
can you scroll down to the bottom and see? No,
It
there's
doesn't.
nothing there.
Let me just. There's an easier solution for this. Handy dandy incognito mode, which is probably still going to recognize me. Nope.
Yeah, still didn't do it. Yeah.
So I have my 1800, and remember in your non-live mode, right? Sandbox mode. And since it didn't do that, I can go back here.
It shows test.
111.
On the funnels, it'll show test instead of showing live.
Yes, but you always use a credit card. The credit card number is at the top, 411111111, and then the expiration date just has to be some date in the future. So in any 3-digit code. Let me say, don't save me. And you guys, if you want to send gifts, that's the address. Okay. So now it's going to say, that did not show my, we need the free trial one. So that's the other thing. Like it says, if I have them both visible, you can see I have the 1800 a month, or free for 7 days, then 1800 a month, 3 total payments, and a $9.97 one-time setup fee.
Yeah, this still isn't the same as the way.
Well, I would imagine they custom coded it.
Maybe. I guess we should have probably looked at that page before we started thinking about doing something like this on the fly. That's always the problem, kids, is when you decide to go live and then you just go, hey, let's go do this other thing over here that we didn't in any way plan for, then it never turns out very well.
We should just left the open loop and it'd been like, you know, next week we're going to show you how to. Yeah. And the other thing we didn't add is we didn't add a confirmation page. So
that's okay. And again, just let people know if they do that, if you didn't put on a thank you page or any other page afterwards, when you hit the submit button, what'll happen is it'll submit, but then the whole page will just reload. It'll just come right back to this page, which may be confusing to you because you're like going, oh, it's not working. Well, it's not working because it doesn't have anywhere to go. There is no next page.
Yep. So you
could always, just for testing purposes, as you're doing it, you could just say on submit, go to, and you could just put in Google, google.com. That way it'll take you somewhere if you don't have your thank you page ready to go yet.
Yeah. So as you can see, it just charged me $9.97 right now. And remember, you can change this name to be what you want it to actually show as. So I could have it just be setup plan, right? Or deposit is probably how it's structured. So I think then what happens is obviously on the next page on the One Comma Club challenge.go or onecomaclub.go, I think.
Yeah, it's one of them. It's either One Comma Club Challenge or One Comma Club. And then /go is the path.
Yeah, .com/go. And the other thing is, remember, if somebody then goes and buys the next product, right, on this next page is, pay it all now or the payment plan. When they buy one of those products, I think this is probably how it's set up, or one of those variants, you can then go through and cancel the subscription, the free trial, so they wouldn't get then paid the $1,800. So
yeah, and quite often I know in the past they had to do manual things like that. So if somebody then goes to the next page, pays the whole $1,800 right then, or I guess you probably just haven't paid a difference to do the $1,800 payment right then. So you do the $9.97 deposit, the next page, whatever the difference is to the $1,800, you have them pay it right then. But again, we should have looked at the next page, but you're absolutely right. So you get some money out of them. They either pay the $5,500 or they pay the $9.97 on the first page. But then because you can do
no, the only option is to pay the $9.97. And then the next page is the $5,500.
Okay, so then on the next page, so you have one purchase event on one page, you have the next purchase event on the next page, and then even at that, what I was going to say is because you have conditional logic, if somebody picks $5,500, when it's submitted, you send them to thank you page number 1, but if they choose the $1,800 version, you send them to thank you page number 2. And then it sets up your payment plan for you. So it may be as much as you got 3 different checkout forms as well. And we're just speculating here, but those are certainly ways it can be done. And because of the flexibility we have here, and because of the conditional logic that you can have in your workflows, I guess not technically workflows, your funnel flows, you can, I mean, it's just, you can do anything you want, really.
Yeah. So maybe that's something we will cover next week. We'll talk about how you can tie in different automations versus products, and what they own versus what they buy versus the variants, and all those different options. And we'll leave it there on an open loop.
Yeah. Maybe next week we'll actually look at the One Comma Club purchase process, and of course that would mean we'd actually have to buy it. But I think we can probably find somebody who can actually show us the pages,
or give us the URL.
So we can, I don't want to have to buy it again. I bought it one time 4 years ago now, I guess, because it was May of 22 when they opened up the FBCC again. And I'll tell you, people who are buying it now, back then, 4 years ago, we paid twice what you're paying now, and got 10% of the training that you're getting now. So you guys are getting a screaming deal, and we didn't get the agency workspaces and the 16 other bonuses and all that kind of stuff. So when I saw it now, I'm just like going, can I have half my money back? Because come on, what's going on here? So,
and we should make a caveat. Your 50 reseller accounts are accounts for you to resell. They are not accounts for those people who can resell them. So I think it's a little bit of a caveat with their reseller accounts. You are the reseller, not the actual people who you put into them. They don't have the ability. Except I've seen that going around about you have different reseller accounts.
Yeah. So let's say you got the 25. If you bought early in the process, you always got to take some of those bonuses away. But if you ended up with 25, even, you sell them each, or you put people into them for $97 a month. Basically, you're making $2,500 a month. Yep. So once you get all those spaces filled up, well, even at that, you only get a couple filled up over a year. You've still paid for the 5,500. You just paid for the program. It's just when I saw them do that, I'm like, what is wrong with you people? I mean, come on, you're giving everything away.
And the cool part about it is like, compared to a different software that also allows you to have sub accounts or reseller accounts, you would have to be stuck if you're paying, if you got 15 people underneath you and then all 15 of them cancel for some reason, you're still paying that monthly fee, which is $497 for the opportunity to have those white label agency accounts, which you have to handle the support on, versus with this deal with ClickFunnels, you pay up front. You get incredible access to incredible training. But at the same point, if you have 50 people on who have accounts who are paying you $97 or $297 or $597 or whatever you set it out to be, or, whatever, $1,000 a month, regardless of if you have 0 or 50, you're paying the same amount, which is just $297 a year.
Okay. All right. Let's move on then. We got 25 minutes here. I might go long. If so, I think what I'm going to show you guys is going to blow your minds on some of this stuff here. So let me come over here, and I need to share my screen. Share the screen. This is always a 400-step process. I want to share a particular window, and it is that one right there. And because of the vagaries of how StreamYard works, we're going to have to stop here shortly, and I'm going to have to share a different screen, and you'll see here very quickly why that is. So what we're talking about here is page speed, page load time, page, whatever. There's a whole bunch of things we're going to cross over into here very quickly. And so what I did to show the difference is I started with the most simple page you can build inside of ClickFunnels. I got everything turned off. I don't even have the badge showing in the bottom right-hand corner on the live page. I just have a singular headline on the page. So what we want to do is we want to test the page load speed. And lot of people use something like GTmetrix for this, but you don't need to. You can just go into Chrome's developer tools, and I always suggest people use Chrome while they are building inside of ClickFunnels. And so here we are in Chrome. And in order to get here, all you do is right click on inspect. It'll normally open up as the elements here. You can move it around on the page by clicking here and choosing where you want it to be on the page. But for when we're running what is known as Lighthouse, I like to have it down here at the bottom. And so we're going to click on Lighthouse. And then there's one thing you're going to notice right here. There may be stored data affecting loading performance in this location. The reason why you're seeing this is because we are on a, I'm sorry, I am not in an incognito window. Something happened on the screen in the back there, Madison, and it affected where my brain was. So we are in a regular window here. We are not incognito. And because of that, the Lighthouse page speed will be affected by a whole lot of things, including all the extensions you are running on this page. So every extension you have in Chrome will affect this because it's taking up resources on the computer. It's taking up, I mean, as the page is loading, some of those resources may be looking at the page and affecting it and doing all kinds of stuff. Plus it says stored data and whatnot. So we're going to analyze this page right here. And yesterday, I'll tell the story real quick as this loads up for the first time, and then hopefully we can skip the loading part going forward. There's a guy, Michael Ottman, in the ClickFunnels group. Well, I didn't get my story done, so let's take a look at this here. So we have here, we have performance of 67, accessibility of 81, best practices 77, SEO 45. That's pretty bad. Okay, these are some pretty crappy numbers. I'm going to show you real quickly why that is. But what we're going to do now is we're going to bounce out of here and we're going to go into an incognito window. So the first thing I have to do
before you bounce to that, Dan, we're talking about our new funnel builders who bought that offer. Think about being on a call with somebody and all you do is show up this and you're like, man, your performance is 67%. You know, we could do better with that. Accessibility 81. Oh man, I like to see those over 90. Best practices, blah, 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 at SEO. And they'll be like, oh, how did you know that?
Oh my God. And Greg does have some training in the FBCC training program that scratches the surface. Don't want to be mean to Greg or anything, but he shows you a lot of stuff. But I'm putting together an optimization program where it's like 100 times because we go way far afield on things that actually really do affect all of these numbers right here. And I'll show you some of them in the next 20 minutes. So first thing we need to do is get off of here. So let me see here. I think I do that. Okay, good. And now let's share once again. Like I said, this is a process and a half. Here we go. All right. So now here is the other page. And you're going to see some of the numbers got better, especially this one here. When it was up to 100%, it was like 71 or something on the other. And so you're saying, okay,
incognito mode.
Yes, this is
incognito window.
The only difference between the two of them was one was regular, one's incognito. So here we got rid of a lot of stuff that was affecting the page itself. So this alone, first off, is the better way to be examining these pages, but also it gives you more accurate numbers too, and it gives you better numbers every time as well. So we can come down here and there's a lot of stuff on this page. And what's really cool about this now is there's all kinds of links. And so anytime you have a question about what is going on, just click on the button. It'll give you a whole big long explanation, a lot more than you ever wanted to know about it. But we come in here, we go first contentful paint, 1.5 seconds. So the time it takes, and let's go down here and look at this little chart. See right here, there's a little bit of black text. Okay, so we have 2 frames here with absolutely nothing showing. Well, why is that? That is our 1.5 seconds that it took before anything painted on the screen. So that is always an issue. But the standard is if you're less than 2.5 seconds, you're good to go. And so that's affecting the score up here a little bit, but not that much. But here's the thing, what really got me started on this yesterday when I was thinking about what I was going to talk about today is what you can and what you cannot affect. And that's the most important thing when you're looking at something like this. So let's take a look. Let's open this up here. So we got render blocking requests, whatever the heck that means. It took up 110 milliseconds. So 0.1 second, basically. Okay. What do we have here? Cloudflare CDN. Well, ClickFunnels runs through Cloudflare. And this I did this on my ClickFunnels subdomain. So it's not like I'm running this through a different domain or anything either. So ClickFunnels runs on Cloudflare. So there's nothing we can do about this. Okay. MyClickFunnels.com, another page here. Can we do anything about that? No. Google Fonts, can we do anything about that? No. So just keep on moving down, because the ones you can't affect, you can't affect. Now, I will tell you, I started working with the devs on this. Well, let me put it this way. I sent them a video of everything that I found that I thought was a problem 6 months ago. Talked to the devs at the time. They said, oh yeah, we're aware of most of those things. We're working on cleaning them up. And they have. Half of what I showed then is not on here anymore, because they fixed a lot of the stuff, or they sped it up immensely. Okay. So here we got font displays. Google Fonts again. Can't change anything on there. You got to have Google Fonts on the page. So there has to be a file, or in this case here, yeah, it's a WAF file. So we got network dependency tree. You can look at this. You'll go blind. Doesn't matter. And again, can't affect that here. Use efficient cache lifetimes. Can you affect this? Maybe. Here's a place where if you run your domain through Cloudflare itself, which I strongly suggest everybody do, here's a place where you could possibly actually affect it by a certain setting inside of Cloudflare. And again, that's for another day. These two down here, what is this going to say here? It doesn't matter. It's not even colored. We have our headline here. Oh, I know.
It's your largest content that you're painting.
Yeah, it's that one, or no? I guess it's when we get into accessibility. It bangs you on this, because there's so little on this page that when we're talking about accessibility. So again, here we can't change any of this stuff. Cloudflare, Google Fonts again. So we get down here, down here in accessibility. Document doesn't have a title element. Well, we'll come back to that. So minify our CSS. Okay. So what minify means is basically take out all the spaces, take out everything that we humans have to put in there so we can read the CSS file. Well, minify, it means takes all that out. Is this something that could be fixed at some point in the future by ClickFunnels? Yeah, possibly, but it's taking up 2.9 kibibytes. Yeah, kibibytes. I had to look that one up yesterday.
King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk.
You what?
King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. KHD.
No,
King
this is
Henry
Kibby. It's actually spelled KIBI.
Oh, it's not like
or something. Yeah, not kilobytes.
Not kilobytes.
So then here we got minify the JavaScript. Can you do anything about that? No. That's something ClickFunnels may or may not ever do. I mean, again, but it's taking up 2.4 kibibytes is basically 0.2 of a second, maybe. It was even that much. Like I said, I looked it up, saw what it said. I was like, all right, that still doesn't make any sense to me. Reduce unused CSS, reduce unused JavaScript. So can they go in there? Can they clean up a few things? Can they reduce the speed a little bit? Yeah, it's not going to really make any difference. Now, here we come down here to accessibility. We got a score of 81 on that. Well, one of the things, it says document doesn't have a title element. Well, okay. The title gives screen reader users an overview of the page. Well, guess what? In my SEO metadata, I did not put in a title. Same thing with the description. There's no description in there. Also, I did not turn it on. See right here, 45. I did not tell it to index the page.
Yep.
So we got a score of 45. So these are all things that your client may have screwed up on their page. They don't even know it. They don't know that they're getting slapped because of it. They might have a robots.txt file turned on and not even be aware of it. You can go in there, take a look at the source code on their page and see if it's on there. If it is, it's not being spidered by the search engines. So those are all things you can be looking at here. Document does not have a main landmark. Again, why? Because there's nothing on this damn page. There's one line on here. So we're getting whacked on here as much because of what we don't have than what we do have on it. And then we won't worry about that one. Best practices, we got 100%. Don't have to worry about that one because, again, there's nothing on the page. And then here, page is blocked from indexing right there. So we're getting whacked for that. Document does not have a title. Element, document does not have a description. So let's go back over here and let's just do a couple of very simple fixes. And I can remember now to come up here and click on that little funnel icon, make it so much easier on myself.
So there's a point. These actually matter. These little things actually make a difference in the the robots basically being able to find and understand your site.
Yeah. So we just turned on those things. What else was there on here that we were thinking that we can maybe do to make a difference? That was really it because there's really nothing else on this page. Okay, let's just do that. So we got to come up here. We click on that to turn this off. And then let me actually, well, first off, okay, I did save that. Let me reload the page first because it will not have picked up that information until the page is reloaded. And now we will analyze the page. Now, I don't know why that data thing is showing here because I thought normally it didn't show that when we were incognito. But let's just take a look at this. And you'll see it flash around a little bit. And so, wow. So now did the performance go up at all? I don't know, maybe a little bit, but these clearly through the roof now. Okay. The SEO was what, 54? So
yeah, 45.
Yeah. So first contentful paint, actually a little bit slower, but if we reloaded the page again, if we ran the test again, there's so many vagaries on what can happen because when you click the button here, it has to send a signal out all the way to wherever. Now, again, when we're doing a load speed thing here, where are they going to? Are they going to the ClickFunnels server and looking at the funnel there? Are they looking at the funnel on the page? How does all of this work? And when you consider the fact that we clicked a button here and 1.7 seconds later, our page is loaded.
Yeah.
You have to say to yourself, and Google it one time and look it up. There are seriously between here and there and back, like 24 different steps that this thing has to go through. And at every single one of those levels, the page can be cached. So if you're running into a caching issue, it's not just your computer. There are 24 other spots between here and there and back that it could also be cached at. So there's a lot of things you got to consider there as you're dealing with page speed and stuff like this. So again, here, we're not going to go through all this again because we already did it once, but how many of these can we come in here and affect? Again, font is, I mean, can I change Google Fonts? No, of course not. So we could forget about those, the minifying, the reducing of this and that. Can't really change any of that stuff. So there's really nothing up here at the top we can change. Accessibility, document does not have a main landmark. Again, there's nothing on this page, but that's the only one we're getting whacked for now. Best practices and SEO were perfect across the board. Okay, so this was a very simple example showing how just minor little things that we turned on. You saw it took 30 seconds to turn those three on. So how that can do it. But now let's go over here to this page. And what I did on purpose is I pulled a template straight out of ClickFunnels. And before we even get to this, well, let's go to the page. One thing that I'm going to show you that's kind of cool that you can do, let's inspect the page. And what I'm going to do is slide this over here to the left-hand side. And I should probably look at my list of things I was going to talk about here. All right, we did that one. Okay, again, I remember that one. Okay.
9 minutes left, so use your take your best ones.
Well, you know, if we go over, oh well. We're not going to get in trouble. So let's see here. Come up here to the top, and we're going to click on the two little arrows, and we're going to come down here to network. And you're going to come here to, okay, I already have it set as slow 4G, which means the last test we were running was actually running slower than it should have been. So, well, what we can do here is let's just put this down to 3G at this point here, and then we're going to reload the page. So this is what your page is going to look like if it's loading somewhere very slowly. So maybe,
and they're going to see a white screen. They will not see this. That was just cached from the previous image on it.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
And what we can do here is, so you see how slowly this thing is loading, and because of the image sizes. So let's just increase this here a little bit to a slow 4G. And one of the things you can do when you're in the dev tools is come up here to the reload, come down, right click on it, come down here and say empty cache and hard reload. That will hard reload the entire page and empty all the cache. So now we can do it, reloading the page. But you can see here that top image, it hasn't even appeared yet. And this is what somebody on a slower internet connection would see. And we can increase this a little bit here. We can reload the page again. And let's just see here. So here's a little bit faster. Okay, she painted in pretty fast, the whole thing. And one thing I normally say to people is, because it appears on this one here that every single one of these sections has a background color on it. But what I like to do is paint the entire background of the page a single color. So if your predominant color on the page here is white, go to your body, make the body white. If the predominant color is black, or if people are predominantly using it on their mobile devices, which are all black as far as I know, then what you want to do is paint the color of the background of the body black. Okay, make it all one solid color. And then as the objects on the page are painted on, they will paint over that background color. And that way you keep yourself consistent. So let's move this back to no throttling, and we will move this down to the bottom. And now what we're going to do is, I guess we don't really need to see that. So let's come here to Lighthouse. There we go. Never want to be able to find it. So now let's analyze this page. And having analyzed this page yesterday, I can tell you what we're going to find, but Madison was going to say something.
So I think this thing is to remember is, you're like, well, but everybody be on my the desktop. I have blah, blah, blah. I have Starling, blah, blah, blah. You remember, these are most likely going to be people who are honestly in the bathroom. They click on your ad and it's going to go to a page. Now, they probably are not super aware who you are. And all of that, the slow lead time goes to, I'm not really that interested. And they bounce away. That is what's costing you conversions and leads in sales.
Okay, so you saw here that the SEO speed was 42. Well, I did not have the title, the description, or the indexing turned on. So let's just click on this and rerun it again. And like I said, I took a look at this thing yesterday. So we showed that, okay. And then, okay, so now we're up to a 92. All right, so that ain't so bad there. Performance again. Let's see what we got here. So it's got a picture of what is above here. So that's one of the interesting things when you're doing stuff like this inside of the dev tools. It can only see what is visible on the page. It's not that it didn't scan the whole page, but it'll only show you here what is seeing on the page. I don't know why that is exactly, but that's the way it works. So here we are, 1.2 for first contentful paint. Not bad. But as we saw, as this thing was loading up, it took until the 5th frame here before something actually appeared on the screen. And that's why we have this here, largest contentful paint of 2.8. So we're over here into the 2.8 zone before we actually really get anything on this page. And part of it is because there's some pretty heavy stuff on this page.
And that's like with good internet, right? That's not using the 3G.
Yeah. Because I set the networking, I set it to no throttling here.
Yeah.
Now, whether that throttling affects it when you're in Lighthouse mode or not, I'm not really sure. I'd have to test against each other.
We'll take the assumption it's under best ideal conditions.
Yeah. So here's what's the first thing we get banged on. Document request latency. Okay. It's responding very slow, 1470. Okay. Server responded slowly. Let's rerun this here, because one of the things that it will tell us in here is why it's having so much trouble is because of the size of these images, because these images are massive and they have not been compressed. They are the wrong size. And we'll go through all that here in a second. Let's see if we still get that one here. Yeah, we're still at three seconds right there.
Actually slower.
And it moved it out one more box there. So yeah, so we're having trouble because there's so much weight on this page, if you want to call it that. Improve image delivery. Okay, so we got image problems here. Gee, what a shock. It actually shows you which images are causing a problem. So we can come in here now and we can start taking a look at these images and going, okay, well, what the heck's going on with these images? And so let's just flip this over to the side real quick and let's take a look and inspect this image. So we're coming here to this image and well, let's do the top one first. And we'll come into the image. Come on. Inspect the image. Why is it not moving? Okay. Is it? Okay. So here we got an image. Rendered size, and it tells you everything you need to know here. Rendered size is 1038 pixels wide. Now, can we make this thing any wider? Let's pull this out a little bit. Okay. So there is stopped, maxed out 1108. So when you are trimming this, cropping this image, resizing the image, and then compressing the image, it doesn't need to be more than 1108 pixels wide as the final result that it comes out at, because it can never get bigger than that. Now, I always add a little bit to it, so 1100, 1200, something like that. So this one honestly is not that bad because its intrinsic value, which is the size that it was actually created at, is 1400 pixels wide. So could you make it a little bit smaller? Maybe, yeah, but it's 1.5 megabytes. That tells me that this image was not compressed in any way, because an image like that should be certainly less than 100 kilobytes, shouldn't it, Madison? If I got my things right there, shouldn't it be pretty small?
Well, I don't compress my images, so.
Well, then you have really
but
bad.
You know, okay, but think about it. There's a 10 megabyte limit for images on ClickFunnels. So that is taking up 1/10 of the maximum size an image that you can even upload to ClickFunnels.
Oh, okay. So an image cannot be more than 10 megabytes. Yeah,
Correct.
you wouldn't. It would take forever for that image to load anyway. So why would you even want that on there? So this one here, the size is not too terribly large, but it definitely needed to be compressed. So now let's take a look at this image here. And we come in here and it renders out as 400 pixels wide, but it was created at almost 1400 pixels wide and is 500 kilobytes. So this image is actually a third the size of the one we looked at before this. But again, when this thing is compressed, it shouldn't probably be more than 20, 30, 40 megabytes at most. And a lot of times you'll get it under 20 megabytes when the compression is done, especially if you're talking smaller images like this little teeny tiny one down here. We can look at that. And that is showing as, okay, 80 by 90, that's fine. But the intrinsic is much bigger and 26 kilobytes. This here, you could probably compress down to less than 10 kilobytes.
So this that image was actually pretty closely designed to a similar width as the image above it is currently on the page.
Oh, there's
right? The arrow.
Yeah. 300, and this one here is
400 wide.
400. Yeah. So this image started out 3/4 of the width of this image, and then had to be crunched down and loaded onto the page. So if we were to change just these three alone, we're going to get drastic improvements on what we got going on the page. But now there's a couple other things. Let's go back into our lighthouse here. Here we go. So we're going to fix up these images right here. And then we're going to keep going down the page. Render, blocking, request fonts, network dependency. There's probably nothing we can do there. Here are the same ones again. Image elements do not have, and here's a big one that people don't understand, is an image has to have both a width and a height. Standard out of the box, ClickFunnels does not set that as a width and a height. And why do you want that width and height? It is because of something it should show in here. And they actually slap you for this. Cumulative layout shift. If you give an image the exact size it has to be as a ratio, if you give that to it, it will then leave that space open on the page. So we've all seen it where you load up a page and everything, all the text is like all smushed together. And then all of a sudden the text comes apart and an image goes right into the middle of it. That is a layout shift. And they smack you hard for layout shifts. So how can you fix that inside of ClickFunnels? And that's the, let me just mention here, schema. If we were to keep going, I would show you some stuff about schema on here. Maybe that's for a different day. But you want to have schema on every single one of your pages. And if you get down here at the bottom, there's a place where you can test your schema. I forget where it is. It's on here somewhere. But let me just show you this other thing really quick. So inside of ClickFunnels, you can actually do what they're asking you to do. And that is simply by coming over here. These are different ratios or formats to put your image in. Well, if we have it on the 3 dots, it doesn't give it a ratio. If you change this here now, let's say we're going to click on that, and you're going to see when I did that, it elongated the image. So let's click on this one here. Is that better? What we want? Yeah, okay. But then let's say that image isn't looking quite right. Well, we can come down here and we can say we can change that to contain. All right, is that what we want? Now we're seeing a little bit of white on the edges there. We don't want that. Let's click on cover. Okay, is that what we want? Is that different than fill? Yeah, a little bit. Which one do I like better? I'm going to go with cover.
So cover should crop it to fit.
Yeah, how it
and then
works.
fill will squish it.
Yeah. Cover says take the smallest dimension. So in this case here, height is the smallest dimension. No, let me think here. Cover, contain. No, that's No, that's contain. Okay, so contain says take the smallest. In our case here, height is the smallest. So I was going to say fill up the entirety of that height and then go as wide as you can. And if that means going outside the edges on the width, that's what you do. Cover says no matter what, we got to cover the entire area, because if on contain you max it out at the top, but it's only half the width, it'll center it in the middle for you.
Yeah.
But you're going to have white boxes on either side, just like, let me just show you here. We had white boxes right here on contain. They're very tiny, but you have white boxes there because it ran out of picture to put there. But cover says find the biggest dimension. So in this case here, that'd be width. And then if need be, flow out the top. Yeah. So 9 times out of 10, you're going to either use cover or fill. And there's just only slight differences there. And I don't actually know what fill is, because technically
it'll stretch.
I don't think that's a CSS property. Is that what it does? It stretches
it's it? It's a React property. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you're better off using almost all the time cover.
Yeah.
Because it will fill up the whole thing and push outside the edges a little bit if need be. We can do the same thing with gal down here. But now when we do this, and let's save this page, and we'll come in here. And so where was that? It wasn't right there. Where was it? Right here. So we have this image right there showing. So let's rerun this and let's see if that, okay, it's reloading the page for me. I was like, did I reload the page? But it reloads it for you when you click on Lighthouse. So because it did have to reload the page, you're right, the throttling may affect it when you are running Lighthouse. So now I don't remember what our numbers were before. That doesn't matter. Let's just come down here and see if we fixed that issue. And that was not under best practices. No. Oh, and don't forget about your alt titles on stuff too. It's very important. Oh, here we go. So we were still up here in performance, but yeah, alt titles on your stuff, alt text. So now it's not here anymore because it fixed it. So let's take a look at what it did to this image. And oh, hang on a second. It did that to me the other day too. There we go. So in here now, okay, it's not at this level. Oh, and if we had alt text in here, it would be right here at this level. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. It's right down here. This is the proper place for alt text. If you put the alt text in the assets, it will show up here, which is not the right place for it. Down here is the correct place for it.
I do like that it's Winter Jones - a real estate.
Yeah. So we kind of know who built
We know
this.
who did this now.
Yeah, and we know who the culprit is who didn't compress those images. But it's just a template. So somewhere in here, I thought now it puts in a ratio, and it may, but I can't find it. Do you see a ratio in there?
No.
Yeah. Somewhere in there, it puts in a ratio. And that's what, either way, Lighthouse found it when it was running through it, so it did not flag it this second time around. So it changes something in here, and I just don't remember what it is or where it is. So either way, the point is that's how you can fix it, just by choosing one of those four boxes, fit your image to it. They give you the fit here, which are actually CSS properties, and that's it. So this image fit right there. So that is all I have for this one today, because we are out of time. By 8 minutes, we're out of time, but we had a slow start. So okay, so that was it. We talked about products. We talked about some of the stuff. I mean, we barely scratched the surface on what you can do to optimize your pages and SEO results and all that kind of stuff. We barely scratched it. But we'll pick up that probably in some later weeks. And also, we all both have training on all this kind of stuff as well. And you can check out our YouTube channels and our Facebook groups, and also the ClickFunnels official group for all kinds of, if you got any questions, just drop them in there and just tag one of the two of us, and we'll jump in there and answer them for you.
Absolutely. And so this season on Super Investors Live, expect more of this. Maybe we're going to even funnel hack some of the most popular funnels that are out there and offers, and give you little tidbits and snippets, and maybe even roast a few of them. So with that being said, we'll see you guys all next week, same time, same place. And yeah, we're going to get this streaming thing worked out.
We will.
Maybe. We will. Hopefully.
All right.